despite our advancements in technology and exploration, we've barely begun to uncover the secrets concealed by the vast ocean. There's a wealth of mysteries lurking beneath the waves, and here we've gathered just a few. From the world's most dangerous lighthouse to enigmatic sea creatures, here are 20 shocking moments captured in the middle of the ocean. Number 20. The most dangerous lighthouse in the world. Lighthouse keeping is one of the professions that has rapidly declined throughout history. In the past, lighthouse keepers were known for their solitary lives, dedicating themselves to the essential task of maintaining and looking after lighthouses. Their pivotal role in guiding ships, especially during dusk, underscored the significance of their work and the lighthouses they tended to. Lighthouse keepers faced numerous challenges, primarily due to their remote and often harsh working environments. Many lighthouses were located on isolated islands, rocky outcrops, or exposed coastlines. Keepers endured extreme weather conditions, social isolation, and the physical demands of maintaining the lighthouse equipment. This clip is enough to explain how harrowing and difficult lighthouse keeping is, or should I say was. Throughout the 19th and 20th centuries, technological advancements led to the automation of lighthouses. Electric lamps, rotating lenses, and eventually electronic systems replaced the need for manual operation. While this increased efficiency and safety, it also marked the beginning of the decline of the lighthouse keeper role. However, despite the decline of this profession, Lumont remains to this day, and seeing how the ocean waves swallow most of the establishment is terrifying. You can only imagine how difficult it was to create this lighthouse in the middle of the ocean. Number 19. Whales resting. Whales, Earth's largest marine mammals, are indeed some of the most amazing creatures to grace our planet. Imagine diving into the ocean and seeing these massive creatures napping, sleeping vertically with their heads facing the surface. Whales are known for sleeping vertically, and they do so for a good reason. Unlike land mammals, whales can't afford to fall into a deep, prolonged slumber because they need to surface for air, and so, these creatures learned how to adapt. You see, whales sleep with one eye open, and their brain hemispheres take turns resting. This allows them to maintain essential functions such as swimming, respiration, and maintaining awareness of their surroundings. During vertical sleep, whales rise to the surface and float just beneath the water's surface, where they can easily access air while staying partially conscious. Sleeping while facing the surface allows whales to rest their brains while ensuring they can breathe. Unlike most mammals, whose brains require complete sleep cycles, whales can rest each hemisphere of their brain independently. This ensures they remain vigilant to potential dangers, such as predators or obstacles in their path, even during sleep. Although these creatures are only resting, seeing them sleeping with their heads facing the surface is among the most mesmerizing things you can see in the ocean. Number 18. A lightning strike. Yep, that's a powerful lightning strike you just witnessed, and yes, it hit just several feet away from this boat. Luckily, they weren't hit by that powerful zap of electricity, but since they're in the ocean, the chances of them being struck by lightning are increased. You see, lightning is most commonly associated with towering cumulonimbus clouds, often called thunderheads. These massive clouds contain both ice crystals and supercooled water droplets, which create the conditions for electrical charge separation. It's natural for lightning to hit both land and air, but lightning strikes seawater more often. Seawater is an excellent conductor of electricity due to its high salt content, making it a low-resistance path for lightning to follow. When lightning seeks to equalize the charges in the atmosphere, it often chooses the path of least resistance, which can be the ocean's surface. Lightning also frequently strikes ships, oil rigs, and other tall structures on the ocean's surface because they provide a prominent pathway for lightning to reach the ground. These structures can act as lightning rods, conducting the electrical energy safely to the ocean below. Number 17. Blackbeard's Ship. The legacy of history's most infamous pirate, Blackbeard, continues to this day. Well, it's less because of history buffs and more because of the countless fictional creations featuring this legendary pirate. If this is the first time you've heard about him, Blackbeard, whose real name was Edward Teach, was a notorious English pirate who terrorized the Caribbean Sea and the eastern coast of colonial America in the early 18th century. He's also known for his notorious ship, the Queen Anne's Revenge. So, on November 21, 1996, many were baffled when explorers discovered a cluster of cannons and anchors on the seabed near historic Beaufort Inlet. What's astonishing is the fact that the cannons and other artifacts found in the area belong to none other than the infamous Blackbeard. Further examination revealed remnants of Blackbeard's infamous blockade, which he used to terrorize coastal towns and demand ransoms. Among the recovered artifacts were personal items, such as a brass bell and navigational tools, shedding light on pirate life at sea. Historians have since studied the shipwreck extensively, identifying over 250,000 artifacts linked to Blackbeard's reign of terror. The site is now considered one of the most significant underwater archaeological finds in American history, allowing Blackbeard's legend to live on through real historical discovery. Number 16. The Silfur Crack. Deep within Iceland's Thingvellir National Park lies a natural wonder that has captured the imagination of divers and adventurers from around the globe, the Silfur Crack. The Silfur Crack is a unique geological formation resulting from the gradual separation of the Eurasian and North American tectonic plates. This underwater chasm stretches for approximately 2.5 miles and reaches depths of up to 207 feet. And fun fact, to this day, this crack is expanding at the rate of about 2 centimeters per year. The Silfur Fissure is something otherworldly. I mean, where else in the ocean can you find crystal clear water just like this? The visibility in this region can go as far as 330 feet underwater. For this reason, divers here feel like they're diving through liquid glass. Despite its frigid temperatures and lack of sunlight penetration, Silfur boasts a thriving ecosystem of algae and aquatic life adapted to the extreme conditions. The freshwater springs that feed the crack provide a constant flow of nutrient-rich water, creating a habitat for the most amazing species. Number 15. Apollo Engine. Saturn V F1 is an engine that sent at least 3 missions to the moon. This historical moon rocket remains submerged in the ocean, its location unknown to us until recently when Jeff Bezos, Amazon CEO, and his team salvaged the rockets from the ocean floor. These same F1 engines powered the Saturn V rocket that launched Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins on the iconic Apollo 11 mission to the moon in the summer of 1969. Initially, these parts were thought to be lost forever, so many were surprised by their discovery. Even though most of the parts remain missing to this day, the discovery of the majority of them is a significant achievement. Number 14. 9,500-year-old lost underwater city. Dvarka is located in the Indian state of Gujarat, at the western tip of the Saurashtra Peninsula in India. This place holds archaeological and religious significance. It's known as one of the country's 7 holy pilgrimage sites, but for historians and archaeologists, this place was once an ancient city associated with Lord Krishna. Many believe that this location hides the oldest city in the world. Similar to the legend of the lost city of Atlantis, it's believed that there's a lost city in this region that's now submerged underwater. Until recently, Dvarka's existence remained largely within the realm of folklore. However, discovering underwater remnants has fueled the notion that Lord Krishna's kingdom and the aerial battle may have been more than just legends. Between 1983 and the present, archaeologists uncovered a fortified foundation believed to be the base upon which Dvarka's ancient city walls once stood along the riverbanks. Over 500 artifacts were found, and some elements indicate a cultural history dating back 2,000 years. Discoveries included stone blocks, pillars, and irrigation systems. Although their dates remain debated, numerous anchors discovered at the site suggest that Dvarka was a historical port involved in trade between India and Arabic regions from the 15th to the 18th century. The harbor likely served as a gateway for foreign mariners coming to India, as the Sanskrit word, Dvarka, translates to portal or door. Today, archaeologists are gearing up for an underwater excavation to uncover the foundations of the ancient city walls. Much remains unknown about this place to this day, but many firmly believe that Dvarka will soon be recognized as the oldest city we've discovered to date. Number 13. The Finger of Death. Imagine you're using an ROV to explore the frigid waters of the polar region, when you suddenly see a thin, icy structure descending from the ice above and reaching down towards the seabed. This is the Brinnacle, and it's often referred to as the Finger of Death due to its chilling and deadly effects on marine life. The Brinnacle is essentially a tube of supercooled brine, salt water that's even saltier than the surrounding seawater. It forms in the polar region, particularly in areas where sea ice meets the frigid ocean. You see, this Finger of Death starts as sea ice forms. It expels salt, creating pockets of extremely salty water beneath it. The supercooled brine begins to descend, forming a hollow ice tube around it as it moves downward. As the Brinnacle descends, it freezes everything in its path, including any unsuspecting marine life on the seabed. The water around the Brinnacle is supercooled, causing ice to form rapidly on contact. Any creature that comes into contact with a Brinnacle's icy touch can be frozen solid, earning the ominous nickname, the Finger of Death. Fortunately, it's nothing but a curious spectacle for humans, and this bizarre phenomenon poses little to no threat to mankind. Number 12. Man ambushed by bizarre animals. Imagine you're in the middle of the ocean, enjoying the scenery. You're looking ahead when suddenly loud splashes of water surround you. You stop and wonder just what on earth is happening, but you remain clueless and helpless as your boat is surrounded by massive splashes of water created by something unknown beneath the ocean. This clip looks like something out of a nightmare, right? I'll make sure you're not left wondering about what's happening in this video. Although this clip looks horrifying, there's a logical explanation behind this. This video shows manatees, several of them, underwater trying to deter what they think is an intruder away from their home. Manatees or sea cows are large, slow-moving creatures that primarily inhabit warm, shallow waters along the coasts and rivers of the Americas. They're herbivores, mainly grazing on seagrasses, aquatic plants, and other vegetation. These marine mammals are known for their gentle and non-aggressive behavior, making them some of the most peaceful creatures in the ocean. While manatees are largely non-confrontational, they do have an interesting defense mechanism when they feel threatened. When startled or alarmed by potential predators or disturbances, manatees can create powerful splashes by using their tails to strike the water surface forcefully. These creatures do this to startle or confuse potential threats, but it also serves as a warning to nearby animals. So if you ever experience this while in the middle of the ocean, you know what's up, and you don't need to panic as much. Number 11. An undersea river. Did you know that a river can exist underwater? Sounds like I'm trying to pull your leg, huh? But it's true, a river can exist underwater. Let me show you Cenote Angelita. But first, what exactly are cenotes? Cenotes are natural sinkholes found in limestone-rich regions, often revealing access to underwater caves and rivers. Cenote Angelita is different from others because it features a halocline, a layer of water with varying levels of salinity, creating a visual effect that makes it look like a river flowing beneath you. You see, fresh water from rainfall in the surrounding jungle floats on top because it's less dense than the seawater below. It's like a two-layer cake, fresh water on top, salt water below. As divers descend into the cenote, they encounter this surreal underwater river, which almost feels otherworldly. The effect is so vivid that tree branches and debris scattered along the halocline add to the illusion of a forested riverbed. Some divers describe the experience as entering an eerie yet mesmerizing dreamlike state. It's a natural marvel that reminds us just how diverse and surprising Earth's underwater landscapes can be. Number 10. The mysterious Mary Celeste. On December 4, 1872, sailors spotted the American merchant ship, the Mary Celeste, adrift in the Atlantic Ocean. There was not a single soul on board, and no trace of the original crew was found on the ship. So what happened to the crew of the Mary Celeste? That's the big question. There were no signs of struggle or violence on board. Their personal belongings, including valuables and important documents, were left behind. It's like they vanished into thin air. The ship was found by another vessel called the Dei Grazia, whose crew spotted the Mary Celeste bobbing along aimlessly. They boarded her and immediately sensed that something was amiss. The ship's single lifeboat was missing, and the only damage they could find was a bit of water in the hold. Nothing too serious, of course. Countless theories surround the Mary Celeste to this day. Some suggest piracy, but there was no sign of a struggle or a pirate attack. Others think it might have been a mutiny, but again, there were no signs of violence or disputes among the crew. Weather-related theories propose that a waterspout or a rough storm could have forced the crew to abandon the ship temporarily. But if that were the case, why didn't they return to their perfectly intact vessel? The lifeboat was gone, but it hadn't been used in a hurry. Perhaps the most popular theory is that there was a problem with the ship's cargo. You see, it was carrying a load of industrial alcohol. Some believe that the fumes from the alcohol could have built up, causing the crew to fear an explosion and abandon ship, even though the alcohol didn't have a history of spontaneously combusting. To this day, the mystery endures, and the Mary Celeste remains an enigma of the high seas. Number 9. Mysterious skin-like golden orb. In September this year, researchers discovered something mysterious off the Pacific coast of Alaska, a mysterious golden orb, potentially an egg laid by an unknown sea creature. The intriguing object, featuring a central hole, was located at a depth of approximately 2 miles by a remote-controlled submarine explorer. Scientists from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration (NOAA) in the United States made this discovery and are currently conducting tests and DNA analysis to determine just what the golden egg really is. Now, the scientists at NOAA have a couple of theories. They're thinking it could be the hatched egg of some unknown sea creature, or perhaps a marine sponge. To get to the bottom of this mystery, they're running tests and doing DNA analysis. During deep-sea exploration, they used a remotely operated arm to gently interact with the orb. There's a lot of speculation going on about what it might be. Is it an egg? Is it a sponge? Did a creature hatch from it? Or was it something else entirely? Scientists are now conducting DNA tests to figure out which family of marine life this golden orb belongs to. But for now, the classification of this one might remain unknown to us. After all, identifying the exact species might be a bit tricky since we haven't sequenced all of the marine life out there. Maybe this golden orb will become another enduring underwater mystery. Number 8. The Yanagi Monument. The Yanagi Monument is a series of rock formations, with some reaching up to a staggering 82 feet tall. These megalithic structures are thought to be more than 10,000 years old, and they're sitting at depths of about 16 to 131 feet. It was initially discovered by a Japanese diver who argued that this underwater formation was created by an unknown civilization. However, most people disagree with this claim. Some experts argue that these structures are entirely natural rock formations, shaped by erosion, currents, and other natural processes. While others firmly believe that the Yanagi Monument is a man-made structure, there isn't enough evidence to confirm this. Skeptics point to geological explanations, suggesting that the Yanagi Monument is a result of natural geological processes. They argue that the rock's shapes could be attributed to fractures, tectonic shifts, and the powerful forces of underwater currents that have sculpted these formations over millennia. Modern technology, including underwater cameras and sonar equipment, has provided new insights, but the debate is yet to be settled. Number 7. Underwater Pyramid. Portuguese researchers claimed that they had found an underwater pyramid located in the Azores of Portugal. The structure in question is described as having a perfectly square shape and is estimated to stand at around 200 feet with an area covering a staggering 86,000 square feet. Because this is an unprecedented discovery, Portuguese researchers are now analyzing the data to determine the structure's origin, whether it's a product of human construction or a natural formation. One of the reasons why this discovery captured the attention of many is due to the belief that this pyramid has remained submerged for approximately 20,000 years. Some theorists have speculated that it might be linked to the fabled lost city of Atlantis, igniting further curiosity about its origins. On the other hand, skeptics argue that erosion and volcanic activity in the Azores may have caused a natural phenomenon that only appears to be a pyramid. The excitement grew when sonar imagery showed sharp, geometric lines resembling man-made structures, though no definitive conclusions have been drawn yet. However, experts claimed that since the region experiences a lot of volcanic activity, it's quite possible that the pyramid is a product of natural formation. Number 6. Mysterious holes on the ocean floor. It doesn't seem like it was too long ago when scientists stumbled upon strange underwater patterns. These intricate circular patterns have befuddled researchers in Japan up until recently. Initially, these patterns were believed to have been created by aliens or an advanced underwater species that we have yet to discover. However, the truth was revealed years after the discovery of these patterns. It might be a bit anticlimactic for some, but these patterns on the sand are actually created by none other than pufferfish. These underwater crop circles are made by male pufferfish to attract a mate. They'll spend a long time perfecting these circles, and if it impresses a female, the two will mate, and this circle will serve as their nest. Now that this mystery is solved, a new one surfaced earlier this year. Scientists discovered a series of intriguing holes on the ocean floor in the Atlantic. These holes are so meticulously aligned that they appear almost as if they were crafted by human hands. According to researchers who delved into data gathered by the NOAA vessel Okeanos Explorer, NOAA shared photos of these bizarre holes, claiming researchers have no idea what or who created them. Mind you, these holes were found around 2,500 meters underwater. For reference, that's a staggering 8,000 feet underwater, so I'm pretty sure that a human isn't the culprit with this one. Exactly like the pufferfish mystery, it might take us years to discover, and the culprit behind these holes might just be another ocean creature. Number 5. Zombieworms. Zombieworms, scientifically known as ostacs, are some of the most peculiar creatures lurking in the ocean's depths. These critters are experts at making a living in one of the harshest environments on Earth, the abyss. Now, you might be wondering why they're called zombieworms. Well, it's not because they're out to munch on your brain, but their lifestyle is seriously creepy. So, what's the deal with these underwater zombies? These worms are bone eaters, and they have a thing for feasting on the bones of dead marine creatures that have sunk to the ocean floor. Imagine a world where skeletons don't rest in peace, but instead, they become a feast for these creatures. But how do they do it? Zombie worms have a fascinating adaptation. They secrete acid. Yep, you heard that right. They release acid to dissolve the bone, breaking it down into a digestible meal. And if that doesn't sound horrifying enough for you, I don't know what is. They rely on sunken carcasses like dead whales or fish to provide them with their bone buffet, and they don't move around much either. So, you don't need to worry about them suddenly latching onto you while swimming in the ocean. Besides, these creatures usually chill at the staggering depth of 14,000 feet. Number 4. Ghost Fleet of Chuuk Lagoon. Chuuk Lagoon, once known as Truk Lagoon, was a major naval base for the Imperial Japanese Navy during World War II. It was considered one of the most formidable strongholds in the Pacific Theater, but in February 1944, Operation Hailstone, a massive Allied air and naval attack, changed everything. The lagoon became the final resting place for an entire fleet of Japanese ships and aircraft, turning it into a watery graveyard. What's remarkable about the Ghost Fleet is that it's not just a graveyard, it's a thriving marine ecosystem. Over the years, the metal hulls of sunken ships have been encrusted with vibrant corals, creating a dazzling underwater landscape. Sea turtles, rays, and even reef sharks patrol the wrecks, making the lagoon an extraordinary blend of history and nature. These relics of war now serve as both a haunting reminder of the past and a vibrant ecosystem teeming with life. Because of this unique feature, Chuuk Lagoon has become a diver's paradise, attracting adventurers from all over the world to appreciate the artificial reefs and the marine life that thrives in the area. Number 3. Bobbitworms. Forget about zombieworms and take a look at bobbitworms. These creatures not only have a fearsome appearance, but they're also quite formidable predators underwater. Bobbitworms are ambush predators that live in the sand and burrow into coral reefs, waiting patiently for an unsuspecting meal to swim by. Now, here's the crazy part. Bobbitworms can grow to be up to 10 feet long. That's right, 10 feet of this nightmarish creature. They have long, slender bodies with sharp jaws that can slice through prey in the blink of an eye. With their extended, highly sensitive antennae on their backs, bobbitworms excel at detecting vibrations and chemical cues in the water, which is essential for sensing the presence of possible prey. When a potential meal, like a fish or a smaller worm, gets too close, the bobbitworm strikes like lightning, grabbing its prey and dragging it down into its burrow. Bobbitworms are also known for their impressive survival skills. When they sense danger or disturbance, they can retreat into their burrows, sealing themselves inside with a special mucus. It's a great thing that these worms only grow large enough to target small sea creatures. Can you imagine if these guys were bigger? The ocean would be an incredibly hard place to explore. Number 2. Missing boater found alive in the middle of the ocean. Imagine you're in the middle of the ocean, and you have nothing but a small piece of wood to keep you afloat. Without sufficient warmth, it's said that a person can only survive for a few hours. However, if your body remains somewhat close to average body temperature, your time in the ocean might last longer. A person can survive in the ocean for almost 2 months without food, but without water, the human body will shut down in less than a week. You can only imagine the horror 62-year-old Stuart felt when his boat capsized at sea, leaving him stranded about 90 miles from the nearest land. Fortunately, luck was on his side. While sailing the ocean, crew members aboard the 225-foot container ship Angelus accidentally stumbled upon the 62-year-old, clinging helplessly to his boat, which was already floating vertically. Had he not been spotted, he could have easily perished amidst the harsh ocean, with no ample space to move, no food, no water, and no shield from the wind. The man's family couldn't put into words the gratitude they felt for the workers of the container ship. After all, the U.S. Coast Guard had searched for the man days prior but had no luck. Now it's time for today's topic. In the vast waters off Japan, a series of mysterious boat attacks left fishermen perplexed and terrified. Boats returned with heavy damage, their nets ripped apart, and some crews never came back at all. Rumors spread among the fishing villages of a monstrous creature lurking beneath the waves, one that killed whales and attacked anything that crossed its path. Desperate for answers, a group of fishermen, armed with dynamite, set out on a mission to confront the beast. After hours of waiting, they encountered something beyond their wildest imagination, a massive, pink creature emerging from the depths. As it attacked the boat, the fishermen detonated the dynamite, but what floated to the surface was far more terrifying than they anticipated. The creature had no growth limit, and its size was unlike anything they had ever seen. With long, thick tentacles and a massive, bulbous body, this giant squid-like beast had terrorized the seas for decades. Known for killing whales and sinking boats, it seemed this apex predator had ruled the ocean depths unchecked. What made this discovery even more alarming was a theory quickly circulated by some scientists. The creature's unusual size and behavior could be attributed to the nuclear waste leaks from Japanese nuclear power plants, particularly after recent disasters. The radiation could have caused severe mutations, turning an already formidable species into a monstrous mutant. This creature, they suggested, might be just one of many terrifying mutations hiding beneath the ocean's surface. Number 1. The Baltic Sea Anomaly. The Baltic Sea Anomaly is located in the Baltic Sea, between Sweden and Finland. It was discovered in 2011 by a team of ocean explorers led by Peter Lindberg and Dennis Asberg. This discovery is one of the most peculiar underwater findings to date. What makes this anomaly so intriguing is its unusual appearance. It's often described as a massive disc-shaped object with a diameter of about 200 feet. One of the first mysteries surrounding this anomaly is its origin. Some theorists suggest it might be a natural geological formation, like a glacial deposit or a rock outcrop. However, others believe it could be something more extraordinary, such as a sunken shipwreck, a submerged UFO, or even an ancient archaeological artifact. What's more bizarre about this alleged underwater formation are its unique features. For instance, it has a distinct trail-like mark behind it, suggesting that it might have skidded or slid along the ocean floor before coming to rest in its current position. This detail has fueled speculation about its potential artificial origin. Over the years, there have been multiple expeditions to the site, with divers and researchers attempting to gather more information and samples from the anomaly. However, the murky waters, challenging conditions, and the mysterious nature of the object have made investigations quite complex. Today, most experts dismiss its existence as a natural phenomenon, but others believe that the Baltic Sea Anomaly is a feature created by an ancient civilization that we haven't yet discovered. Is it man-made, or is it just an intricate craft by nature itself? These discoveries are just the beginning. There's so much more waiting to be uncovered beneath the waves. If I missed any notable discoveries in this video, drop a comment below. Don't forget to check out our other exciting content showing up on the screen right now, and I'll see you in the next video.